Greetings and salutations, my friends. Welcome to How To YouTube, a complete guide. Today in episode 12, we're going to be covering things like content dilution. And this is where you're creating lots of different types of content for your videos, whether it's vlogs or gaming or something like that. And whether it's a bad thing to diversify too much or if it's a good thing. We're also going to be covering multi-channel networks. If you've had a YouTube channel for any length of time, you'll have probably been approached by multi-channel networks. So I'll be discussing, I'll be having a rant about multi-channel networks in this video. And also we're going to talk about if and when you should start a second channel and what the benefits are to doing that. So let's get straight on with it. So in this section, I want to talk about something called content dilution and changing content or rebranding your channel or even starting a new channel and the sort of pros and cons. One of the big things to do is to remember when you're a channel that does various different content, and this could be any sort of niche, like for instance, gaming is a niche, but on my channel, I do lots of a game called Football Manager, but I also do Motorsport Manager. I also play some other games and stuff like that. The main content of my channel is Football Manager, and so that's where probably 90% of my views come from. What you've got to remember if you're doing different stuff, or you decided you want to do some more stuff, let's say you have a vlogging channel, but then you decide to do some product reviews or something like that, is initially those videos will get a lot less views, because you might get a small percentage, like your hardcore audience, that will watch any of your videos, but most of those people are there for whatever it was that you started off doing, a Football Manager or a vlog or whatever it is, and the new stuff will be of mostly no interest to them. Like I said, you'll get a few of your people, your fans watching it, but what you've got to remember is that can sort of grow a secondary audience. Overall, let's say if you're a generic gaming channel and you cover, in the space of 3 months, you cover 20 different games, whether that's Let's Plays, reviews, or tips, or whatever it is. Generally speaking, the views on those videos are going to be lots smaller than if you were just concentrating on one aspect, because you know that all your subscribers, let's say you've got 1,000 subscribers, are there because of Football Manager. If you've done 30 different game reviews in those 3 months, your fans are going to be there for various different reasons. Some of them might watch all of them, but most of them are going to be there because they're interested in your reviews about football games or your tips videos or something like that. So, and also bear in mind that if you start off creating one type of, and this is sort of when you sort of rebranding your channel, if you are doing one specific thing and that's what you've done and all your subscribers are there because of that, if you start adding new stuff or changing the way you do it, you will notice, generally speaking, a drop in subscribers. And it's a weird one, because you think, like, let's say for Football Manager, for example, I create a Football Manager video every day, and even when I'm doing other stuff, I still do a Football Manager video every day. So the people there for Football Manager still get exactly what they've always got, which is one daily Football Manager video. But even then, when I start uploading different games and stuff like that, I'll notice sometimes a drop in subscribers. And you think, well, that's weird. If they're Football Manager fans, they're still getting that. Why are they annoyed that I've done something else? It's not taken away from the content. And what I think it is what I like to call sort of dead subscriber syndrome. I've just made that up. I didn't like to call that at all. When you look at your subscriptions feed, and you know, I use this page a lot, and I see the latest video from all the channels I'm subscribed to. Sometimes, you know, they're used to checking in your channel every day to watch a Football Manager video, and sometimes they might come in and go onto their subscription feed and go, "Why is there a League of Legends video here?" And they sort of look at it and go, "Who's this guy? Oh, I don't really watch that guy anymore. I'll unsub." Because the people that are really enjoying Football Manager videos will still, why would they unsub? Because they're still getting the content. So I kind of think a lot of those people that do unsub, if you change up your content, a few of them just aren't interested anymore, but most of them are just like, they probably haven't watched your channel for ages anyway. Because I've noticed when I changed my content up and dropped a few subscribers, my views haven't changed a bit. So it's people that aren't really watching. You're kind of just reminding them to unsub. The other thing about changing up your content is doing rebranding. So let's say I wanted to change my name, or I wanted to change my logo or my banner or something like that. And if at all possible, you want to stick with what you've got, especially if it's like a well-known, you know, you're growing, and so that becomes your brand. You can. What I would do if you're going to change it, I would say, don't change it massively drastically. Let's say, for instance, mine's kind of based on South Park. That's my little South Park character I created. They're my South Park dogs. They are my real dogs that I made in South Park characters. If I wanted to change this up a bit, I might do another version, but keep it that South Park theme, just so people look at it and go, who the fuck's that guy? Oh, they'll know. They'll still know who you are. If you go for a completely drastic change, especially if you have one of those sort of nondescript channel names, like forgettable channel names, that people are just going to get confused as to who, unless they're obviously big fans, they're going to get confused as to who, you know, who's that guy again? And that can go against your favour. Like, ideally, you want to pick a nice theme for your channel and stick with it, but don't be afraid to, especially early on, don't be afraid to mix it up. When you've got less subscribers, you can chop and change a lot more, whether that's content or your channel art, or try different things, try weird and wacky things. Do that more when you're starting out, because that's the best time to, because you can't piss off any subscribers because you haven't got any subscribers, so it's all good. The other thing that I've seen quite a lot of people do is start new channels. Because what will happen is they'll start a channel and they'll do it for a year and they'll get 1,000 subscribers, and then they'll stop. You know, they get bored of it, or they didn't grow fast enough. They'll stop doing it, and then in 6 months' time, they'll think, actually, I want to get back into it. So they start creating videos again, but hardly anyone is watching because most people have forgotten about them. They'll still might have not. You know, they still might have 900 subscribers out of those 1,000, but it's mainly people that just don't care or don't, you know, clean up their subscriptions. Like, generally speaking, monthly, I go in and unsub from channels that I don't watch anymore. But a lot of people just leave it on there. I could stop YouTube now forever on my 16,000 subscribers, and I'd probably only drop down to maybe 13,000, you know. So people get sort of worried that, you know, I've got 1,000 subs, but only 100 people are watching my videos, only 50 people are watching my videos. The other thing for sort of rebranding or starting a new channel is that you've decided that you want to make different content. But I would, generally speaking, advise to carry on with your channel because, yeah, those 1,000 subs were active, then you stopped uploading, and then you started again a year later, and most of those people aren't watching. But at the end of the day, you're just going to gain new subs. It means your channel's been around for longer. We talked about the YouTube algorithm earlier, so YouTube already trusts this channel, so it's a lot easier to get going. Otherwise, you're starting completely from scratch, which is just a sort of silly idea. So now we are going to talk about multi-channel networks. Now, I have quite strong feelings on this. I'll explain what they are, just if you're new, and the pros and cons as to multi-channel networks. So multi-channel networks are basically third parties that link themselves to your channel, and they will take a percentage of revenue from your ad revenue, and in turn give you various benefits. Okay, that's as sort of simple as it is. My feelings on them, they're pointless. I'm just gonna say that, because obviously, as I was growing as a YouTuber, I looked at a lot of stuff like that. Should I join a multi-channel network? Is it worth me doing? What are the benefits? I did a massive amount of research. I obviously, I've got a cursor up on the screen, which is a popular gaming MCN at the moment. And I did a ton of research, all sorts of MCNs. So this is not directly directed at Curse as such, just pretty much all MCNs. The reason is, back in the day, MCNs were set up to... The main reason they were set up is to protect YouTubers against copyright claims and legal action. Because back in the day, it wasn't so easy to... do these copyright claims, and then you just fill out a form to say why it's not copyright, it's fair use, and all this sort of stuff. And, it was quite a scary place if one of these big companies said, you used our song and stuff like that. So these MCNs were really good at sort of helping you out. They'd give you that expert advice, and even lawyers if you needed it at that point. But in return, they would take, usually, but usually around 50% of your ad revenue, between sort of 40, so I've seen some that were 60%. This is a few years ago. So, but they were worth it, especially for, some of these bigger channels. or somebody sort of starting out that might be risky with using music and various copyrighted stuff and other things. They gave a few other things, which we'll go through shortly, but that was their main thing. And the reason why they're not needed now is because it's much more simple on YouTube, and the way it works is a lot more simple. If I was to use a song in one of my videos, I would get copyright claimed from usually the record company, and it would be an automatic thing. I'd get a pop-up saying it's been claimed. Most of the time, all they do is basically they keep the ad revenue from your video, if it's true and you have sort of stolen a bit of music or whatever. So your video stays there, but you don't earn anything off it. If you use something for fair use, because, let's say you got a song, but you've changed all the words. You only used 2 seconds of it, and you've changed lots of the words. You've used it. You've changed what that song is. It falls under the definition of fair use. And then basically, if you feel like you can reply, you get the option to then counter it and say, this is why I think it's fair use, etc., etc. You fill in a little YouTube form and it's done with. So there's no real sort of scariness involved in possible legal action or anything. To the best of my knowledge, there's not been a single copyright case that's ever gone to the courts yet. There's never been one that's been pushed that far. Generally speaking, at worst, you're going to get them taking the money or sharing the revenue or taking the revenue for that video. So what's happened now is that because MCNs aren't really needed for that sort of thing anymore, they have to give you also, and this is almost proof as to why I say they're not needed, okay, for a number of reasons. The fact is, they've gone from asking 50% of your ad revenue to like 10%. I think Curse is 10% they take of your ad revenue, and because they know it's not that valuable anymore. And what they do offer you is available everywhere on the internet for free. So let's look at this Curse. Sorry, Curse, I'm just using you as an example, but they're all very similar. What are the benefits? Let's have a look at the benefits. So you get special access to the Curse dashboard. So a lot of these MCNs will give you its own version of analytics to tell you how many views and subs and how much money you're earning and all that sort of stuff. But the thing is, you already have YouTube analytics, and all of those MCNs, their special analytics programs, just take the figures from YouTube analytics. It just says that we take those figures. It's not going to be any different. They might show it slightly differently and make it pretty colours, but it's the exact same analytics as on YouTube Analytics. So you learn how YouTube Analytics works, and you don't need that. Another of the big things now that they're offering is like copyright-free music and stuff like that. It's a database of music, but a simple Google searches will reveal a mass of copyright-free music. There's a post on the YT Talk forums, which has a list of about 40 websites where you can go and download totally copyright-free music. There's tons of YouTube channels that make copyright-free music. It's redundant what they offer. And it used to be that MCNs also used to say you were when you signed the contract with them, you were locked in for a year, 2 years, 3 years. Now, because they're so pointless, they don't have lock-in contracts because they know they carry no weight now, so you can cancel at any time. We now have libraries at no cost to our partners. It provides fun and easy way to have access to copyright-free music for your videos. We also have a super happy to announce epoxy integration for our partners. Similar to our music libraries, it comes at no cost to our partners. Epoxy is a wonderful tool to track and manage your social media platforms. There's all sorts of free programs that do all this stuff for free. They're desperately searching for something that makes them useful. One of the things, you don't see it as much now, but they used to say they will run specific ads on your channel. So it'll increase your CPM or increase how much you get paid when an ad is shown, because they're going to be much more, like I make gaming videos, so they're going to be much more gaming oriented, therefore pay more. And if you ask any of these people, well, can you give me an example? Can you give me a rough estimate? Will it be more than YouTube pay? None of them will say so, because they can't. They can't. Because at the end of the day, YouTube is Google, right? Google's quite good at selling advertisements. It's a big part of their business, and they probably have the best people and the best contacts already. So some random MCN is not going to get you a better ad rate than Google. Like, obviously, they're quite good at that. They've been around a while and stuff like that. And the biggest thing for me is that if MCNs were so useful and worth it and all those things, then why is it that when you start a channel, and if you're just about to start a channel or you've just started a channel, you will quite quickly, even when you're small, start receiving random spam emails from all these different MCNs saying, join us, we've got free music and all this free shit and stuff like this, because they're desperate and they've got these referral programs. So I could sign up to Curse now and I could become a referral. So if I get you to sign up through Curse using my link, I'll earn money. And that's how they do it. That's how they proliferate through and through. So just in case you want me to clarify how I feel about MCNs, is don't bother. They're a thing of the past. They're hanging on for grim death. You know, why let them take even 10% of your money when everything they offer is available for free on the internet? The last thing I want to talk about today is second channels. When, why should you ever start a second channel? And this is an interesting debate, and there's no right or wrong answer really to discover if that's the thing you should do. Generally speaking, what people tend to do is start a channel, grow to X amount of size, and then decide that they want to do something different. Maybe like, you know, they've got a vlog channel, but they like gaming as well. So rather than put all these gaming videos in their vlog channel, they will create a second channel for their vlogs and for their gaming, keep separate. The thing to bear in mind is that YouTube takes up a lot of time. If you're doing, you know, making really good videos, you're spending time making thumbnails and doing good SEO and good research and all that stuff, YouTube takes a lot of time. So the biggest thing and the biggest negative about then doing another channel is that you have to then supply both channels with that same effort. So you're doubling your time scale. And also, what happens if you've got your first channel and it's doing pretty well, but then you decide to create a second channel, and because you're stretching your time, your first channel might suffer. Your main channel might then suffer. I don't have a second channel. I've considered it multiple times. But unless I was going to do something so out of the box, like one day I want to start a dog sanctuary to rescue, to look after sort of a home for dogs that people don't want, like troubled dogs. I'm a dog behaviourist, so people that don't want their dogs, or they're too troubled, or they might get put down because they're difficult to work with. I want to take those on board and look after them and try and rehome them if I can, or just give them a nice home if I can't. And if I was to do, if and when I do that, I would obviously create a second channel for it, because that is such a departure from gaming or all that sort of thing, and so separate that, you know, because it's going to have its own charity or company number and company name. So I'd keep it totally separate. But if I'm just doing the occasional vlog or a dog walk video, which isn't directly linked to my channel, then I'm just going to put it in my channel. People seem to enjoy it, and they'll get to know the real you more. So if you've got a gaming channel or a beauty channel or a movie review channel, then putting the odd vlog in, or just a chat video. I used to do this thing called The Ramble, which will be coming back, where I just kind of sort of discussion topics of the week type thing. And I think if any time that you can show your audience more of the real you, I think is a massive benefit. It might not get the views that your gaming videos does or your movie reviews get, but I think unless you start doing it, you know, a massive amount, vlogging suddenly 3 times a week, and it's taking away from the current content. If it's just extra stuff, like let's say you upload 2 movie reviews a week. If then you started on a Sunday, you think, actually, I'm going to start doing a vlog or a discussion piece or something like that that's not movie related as such, I think that's totally fine. Because if you start a second channel, all that hard work from building a channel up from nothing, you've got to do again. Not to such difficulty level, because some of your subscribers will go over to the new channel. Obviously, you're going to tell people about it and stuff like that. But you're building those 2 channels up, and you have to put, you know, you can't let that second channel die. Just because you fancy doing a vlog and you create a second channel for it, but then you're going to force yourself because you think, well, I haven't uploaded a video to that second channel for 2 weeks. So time constraints And the biggest reason for me is if I was doing something so different to what I'm doing now, that then I would consider building a second channel. So there we go, guys. Another video done. I hope you enjoyed it and got something useful out of it. If you have any questions on the subject we talked about in this video, then please leave them in the comments and I'll do my best to answer them. I'm also going to do a live Q&A at the end of this series on YouTube. So if you want to talk, have any more questions or want to go a bit more in-depth or something we haven't talked about before, then make sure you join me on that stream. Also, subscribe if you're new. Also, you know, if you've got your own tips to share, put them in the comments. Let's help each other grow. You know, I'm not the world's expert of YouTube. I'm just showing you what I've learned. But if you've got your own tips and tricks, then please do leave them in the comments. Get involved, and I'll see you in the next one. Thank you very much for joining me, guys. Love you all. Bye-bye.